Hey guys, today I want to give you a tour of the mini barn. I do have one of these videos up on my IGTV on my Instagram, but with that video, I'm capped at 10 minutes and I really don't feel like I can properly go over everything that went into it, what we used as far as building materials, and I know that this is something people are interested in because consistently every month the blogs on my mini barn are in the top 5 read posts. So, with that being said, I'm just going to give you a walkthrough, show you what we did, how I have it arranged and organized to maximize space, make it more efficient for me, as well as go over some of the materials that we used for building, and you can make adaptations from, learning from my mistakes or for suiting it for whatever your needs are. So let's take a look. Okay, so here we have the front of the mini barn. This is my entrance point, and you can see that we use a Dutch style door here for the man door. Originally I was considering using a slider, but then I realized that with that slider I can't ever allow ventilation but also be able to keep the wildlife and critters that I do not want coming in out. So we opted for the Dutch style door because that allows me to have ventilation by having the top open, but it can keep the animals like raccoons, snapping turtles, things like that from getting in, eating my hay, eating my grain, or just causing chaos. The window over here is a window that we salvaged from our house. All of the windows that we have in the mini barn, there are 4 of them, were either salvaged from the old barn that we have had on the property here, or the big one that you can see poking in there through the Dutch door. I actually found it on the side of the road. It's a door that we converted into a window. So with the mini barn, we ended up going with a gable style roof line, which if I could go back and change things, I would change it to a gambrel because I can show you inside we do have a hayloft, but it just doesn't hold as much hay as ideally I would like it to. So let's take a look here. So inside you can see we are set up for success here, as I like to say. We have feed storage along the left-hand side, and those first 2 trash cans are the grain for the girls and the boys. There's that little short trash can behind that is the dog food for Annie. And then over here, I just have this hay storage box that my husband built me because it allows me to keep hay at the at the ground level, easy to feed out a bale at a time, and he enclosed it so that it didn't make a mess and get all over the floor. Back in the back corner over here, this is my milking station. So that is a milk stand that my husband built for me, and it has worked really well. I knew going into this, because the mini barn was already built, that my milking parlor area, I guess you could call it, would be in the back corner, just because that's what made the most sense with the setup. So I opted for it to sit in the corner like that, as opposed to jetting out from the corner into the main space like this. The reason why I did that is you can see if we had done that, there would not be a whole lot of room to walk around and move. It would make for really tight milking, which is something that I do twice a day, so I certainly want to be comfortable with it. So when he built it, he reinforced it on the left-hand side because we knew, there with that frame, because we knew that this was going to be the side that would be shoved up against the wall and it doesn't get in the way, and I just milk strictly from the right-hand side. So above the milk stand, I have this little handy shelf with my empty paper towel holder, but usually there are paper towels in there. This is where I can keep some commonly used things that I use when I milk, like the baby wipes, the Fight Back teat spray for mastitis, as well as my fly spray, and then I also have my hoof trimmers over there as well. Looking up above, this is my hayloft, and it's not very full because we're in the summer right now, so the only goats that are really eating hay are the boys because they don't have as much browsing capabilities as the girls. So this loft is able to hold roughly 16 square bales. So if we had opted for a different roof line rather than a gable roof, you know, it would have been able to be more vertical on the sides, which would have given me more space to stack. So looking back, I definitely wish that we wouldn't have gone with the gable roof line. I wish we would have gone with the gambrel roof line because that would have given us more capabilities up there. But still, 16 square bales of hay isn't too bad. So the way that I have this set up then here is, you know, like I showed you earlier, I have my feed along the left-hand side, and then I have a nice center aisle here. And this just allows me room to move back and forth with ease. Nothing is ever really in the way. I have plenty of room to feed and to milk and do whatever it is that I need to do in there. Over here on the right hand side, this is where I have our stalls. So we have 3 stalls. The first 2 are the biggest, and those are our main stalls that we use, whereas that third stall back there in the corner is smaller, and that is used for kidding, and it'll also be for separation of babies from their mothers so that I can milk in the morning. Each stall has its own hay feeder that we built from some of these panels that we have. And then we also have a bucket hook with water buckets in each stall as well. So each of these stalls are roughly, they're a little bit over 5 by 5 feet. And there's 2 of them. So the goats really snuggle when they sleep and when it rains or when there's any kind of precipitation. So truly, this is enough space for them to sleep and to be together. In the winter, they may get a little bit stir crazy sometimes, but it does work. And we have 5 does and 1 very big white dog that thinks that she is a goat. So everyone sleeps comfortably in here. So this is the third stall that I was saying. This is used for kidding. And it is also for separation, for when we have multiple babies and we need to separate them from their moms at night so I can milk in the morning. But in the wintertime, this is also going to make a secondary hay storage option because I can certainly pile up hay in there, clean the stall out, and use the cement slab that's in there, put down either like a rubber pad or put in some pallets to keep the hay up off the ground. We can go outside and take a look from the back. So from the back here, you can kind of see the front and the back. We have 2 sliding doors that go to the first 2 stalls. Those are the 2 main ones that we use. And then the third stall, because it's at the end of the mini barn, there's no room to actually slide a door. So we went with a Dutch style door for that, which again will give ventilation in the summer if it's hot, when the babies are in there sleeping at night, so they stay cool off, they can get a breeze, but it also protects them from predators as well. We went with a metal roof down here just because it is not in the woods necessarily, but it's still not in an open pasture, and we just didn't want to have to deal with any kind of moss or anything growing on shingles. So we did opt for the metal roof, which I'm really happy that we did because we don't have to worry about, you know, anything growing on there and having to clean it off. When we built the stall doors, we built all the doors out of rough cut as well as all of the stalls out of rough cut. The siding is smart siding, which is basically a grade above T111. It's more waterproof and much more durable. And again, all of the shelving, the doors, the stalls, everything else, it is made out of rough cut with the exception of pressure treated that's along the bottom, so that the bottom of the stalls don't rot. But we did make these doors ourselves. The hardware here, just the track hooks that are connected to the door, those came from Amazon, but then we made the track itself. simply out of a piece of flat stock, and then we made spacers out of piping that we cut to the certain size. I believe it was 2 inches to keep the track away from the siding so that the doors can hang. And then we use these pressure treated blocks as a stopper so that the door can't slide over into the next opening. The mini barn is 10 feet wide by 16 feet long, and we ended up on that dimension because this is actually one massive foundation that is here. There was a barn here at some point back in the day, and we wanted to use the existing foundation, and the part back here was still good. It was under a lot of soil and grass and weeds, but we were able to uncover it, and this was the best part. So we figured that 10 by 16 would be doable, and it has worked quite well for us. The foundation, like I said, was already here, so the entire mini barn is lagged into it, so it keeps it nice and secure and in place. And this setup has worked quite well for us. We will certainly be building a bigger barn in the future down the road, but for now, this is a wonderful setup. It works quite well for me. I spent a significant amount of time down here, and for the most part, I have hardly had to do any kind of rearranging because the way that I have it set up, feet on the one side, center aisle for movement, and then the living quarters on the right, has worked very well for us. Overhead shelving wherever I can fit it, and using that hayloft have been a huge part in the success of this. So I hope that people found this video to be useful. Again, I have 5 dairy goats in here, 5 does, 4 Nigerian dwarfs, and 1 Nubian, as well as that big white dog right there. Everybody sleeps comfortably in here, and we have had no issues with, any kind of shortage of space, and I milk in here twice a day, every day, without any issue. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop a comment below, send me an email, and you can also check out my blog, as I do have more about the mini barn on there.